What's up, guys? Welcome back to the American Dream Podcast Show. My name is Josh, and I am the host of this show, the owner of, and founder and CEO, and blah, blah, blah. It's whatever all the titles you are when you start a business. But yeah, that's me. I am a young entrepreneur that is trying to create something that will have a positive impact on the world, but I want to change the country, change people for the better, help them to become the best versions of themselves, because when we all become the best version of ourselves, that helps us level up as a community. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Our core elements here at American Dream are faith, family, fitness, finance, firearms, and freedom. Those are what we live by. Those are what every episode stems from. That is what our vision for the business is going to be. And I'm so excited to be able to unveil it through you guys. It's just going to take time, so bear with me. We will be announcing our first product once we have a few more fine details to lay out and smooth out, but then we will announce it and it'll be out there for you guys to see. Whether you're new or returning, make sure you go subscribe to the Waypoint, which is our newsletter, so you can stay up to date on all the latest episodes of the podcast, as well as exciting news and some encouragement throughout the week. And then also make sure you go join our Facebook community group called the Rally Point. It's going to turn into something really neat once we grow it big enough. I want it to be a place where people can come, help each other out, and just grow together as a community. So today we're going to talk about the weight of life. The weight of life is something that we all feel. So I'm going to kind of share with you some ways that I have learned to carry it and how we can learn to use it to our advantage. And that way it doesn't drag us down. And so the first thing that you have to do when it comes to dealing with and learning how to carry the weight of life, you have to realize what the weight of life is. Sometimes people can go through life and people have these times in their life where life just feels heavy. And you're not quite sure why. You don't feel like anything's changed, but you just feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I have kind of generalized it into three categories. And the first one is money. Money is the number one problem in relationships. It's the number one problem in a lot of people's lives. It's a big deal. It's tough. But money is what a lot of the weight people feel is, whether it's the economy, whether it's getting laid off, whatever it is, or whether it's finding out that you're going to have a new member of your family. It's a lot of weight to carry. And so when you can identify it, it helps you to be able to strategize on how you can carry that weight. The second category that I feel like the weight of life comes down to is your health. When you're having to take multiple different vitamins and medications and all this stuff just to be able to somewhat function on a somewhat normal level, it can be heavy because you have to constantly be worried about, like, if you're diabetic, you have to be worried about your blood sugar. If you have high cholesterol, you have to worry about your cholesterol, your diet, all that stuff. And it can be heavy because your health is how you function throughout the day. It is where you get your energy from. And if you're in bad health and struggling with health things, it's going to make your life extremely hard. And it doesn't have to be just your health either. It could be a loved one's health. Whether you're taking care of a parent that's having health issues, or just a child or a spouse, any of that, it can be heavy. And then the third thing that the weight of life shows up as, it shows up as doom and gloom. I'm not going to go too deep into how I feel like a lot of the doom and gloom in the world is orchestrated, but I'm going to tell you this. Doom and gloom of life is there on purpose. It gets projected to you on purpose, and you need to become aware of that so you can learn how to carry it and learn how to deal with it. But you've got things like over the past couple of years, you've got COVID, you've got the war in Ukraine, you've got the war in Gaza, you've got all these different variants of COVID and sicknesses. You've got the presidency stuff, the Trump indictments, just all this stuff that is meant to cloud your vision, cloud your thinking, and it gets extremely heavy. But being able to identify what is heavy in your life is going to ultimately help you figure out how to carry it. But to be able to figure out how you're going to carry the weight of life, you have to realize that there's good ways to carry it and bad ways to carry it. And there's ways that the enemy and the opposition want you to carry it. If you didn't see one of my more recent videos about the opposition, go check it out after this video, because I break down what the opposition in our life is and how we can kind of combat it. But so the enemy, the opposition, the government, this is how they want us to carry the weight of life. And it was also three main things that I could really narrow it down to. The first thing that the enemy wants us to carry the weight of life with is with drugs and alcohol. They've both been around forever. And all they do is numb the pain, numb the effects of carrying the weight of life. But that's what they want you to do. That way you lean on it and become dependent on it. And ultimately, it's going to drag you down and keep you from becoming the best version of yourself. The second thing that the enemy wants you to do to carry the weight of life, a way to cope with carrying the weight of life, is sexual desires, pornography, and sex in general. They want you, because it's human nature to reproduce and all that stuff, but they put it out there in a way that makes it so easily accessible. That way you can turn to it with just a click of a button. And that is on purpose. Because what happens when you take the strongest men and make them reliant on a video on their phone? It breaks down their relationship and it demoralizes them as men. But not only men, you think about like OnlyFans, you think about, you go to like things like people on the street selling themselves, that sort of stuff. Think about how demoralizing that is as a society. Whether you're a man or a woman, you deal with it in one way or another. And it's ridiculous. And then the third thing that the enemy, the government, the opposition wants you to use to deal with the weight of the world, the stress of the world, stress of life, is with food. Have you noticed how many different comfort foods there are out there in the world? There's a lot if you really pay attention. And who do you think came up with the term comfort food? I don't know the exact origins, but if you put two and two together, it makes sense. Who did? And so they're labeled comfort foods because they make you feel good. They're not good for you, but they make you feel good. The sugar helps you release dopamine and you get serotonin, all those chemicals that make you feel good. But while you're sitting there indulging in this food that makes you feel good, this comfort food, not only do you feel good, but then you feel like crap a little bit later, and years down the road, when you put on 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 pounds, and you're just a blob on a couch. And so, how can we carry the weight of life? And the first thing that you need to do to be able to carry the weight of life is by removing the things that you can remove. There's all these things that we add to our lives that are so unnecessary that make it heavier to go through life. Whether it be gambling, whether it be unnecessary drinking, unnecessary spending, whether it be just wasting your time on things that are absolutely pointless. You have to be able to remove those things from your life. Take that extra stressor off your life to be able to carry the weight. And then you also you have to consistently do things that challenge you. For me, I like to do rucks, which is just, it's like a walk, a hike with a weighted backpack. And if something doesn't mimic carrying the weight of life, more, it's doing a ruck. Because that whole time I'm rucking, I'm carrying that weight on my back, and it gets heavy after a while. And ultimately, I just want to take it, drop it, and be done. But the more that you do it, the more that you carry that weight through the hard times, the easier it becomes to carry it because you get used to it. You get stronger. So when you have the opportunity, challenge yourself. Make yourself stronger. That way you can carry that weight of life. And while you're doing that, you're building mental toughness. Mental toughness is a key to a lot of things in life, especially carrying the weight of life. But then it also helps to have things like faith and community. Having a place you can go with people that believe the same way you do to be able to support you when things get heavy in life. Because the best way to carry weight is to have people helping you carry it. So whether you go to church, whether you're just highly involved in your community, have friends, that sort of thing is what will help you carry the weight of life when it becomes so unbearable for you to carry. The weight of life can be extremely heavy at times. And that is why it is so important that we are built and that we train for these times so we can effectively carry the weight and not let it slow us down. The weight of life will show up in so many different ways throughout life. And the world wants us to turn to things that will only drag us further down. If you want to be able to carry the weight of life, you need to equip your mind with the things necessary to get the job done. And you do that by doing hard things, by having faith, and building community. Guys, I know it can be heavy. I know life gets extremely heavy. And that is why I want to have this community. That's why I want to build this. So we have each other to help each other carry that weight. This is a little bit of a shorter episode, but I feel like this is something that we needed to hear. So that is it that I have for you guys. The weight of life can be heavy, so don't do it alone if you don't have to. But make sure you're training and doing the things necessary to be able to carry it. And if you need somebody to help you carry it, join the group and make sure you reach out. Because if anything, I'll respond and I'll figure out a way to help you. But that's it, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you share this stuff. Thank you for all your support. I love you guys. And remember, success takes work. Work takes time, and time is limited. So I'll see you guys next time.